Ryan Blake was living the dream, with a thriving business, a luxurious lifestyle, and a wife he thought was the perfect match. But when a nagging doubt creeps into his mind about Mia's true feelings for him, he decides to put her loyalty to the test. In a bold move, he orchestrates his financial collapse, hoping to expose the truth. But as the pieces of his plan fall into place, he realizes he might not know Mia as well as he thought. She's been keeping something from him, something that could change everything. Welcome to Limelight Tales. When doubt creeps in, can trust hold strong, or will it all unravel? Stay tuned to find out. Ryan Blake had it all: wealth, power, luxury, and a beautiful wife, Mia. Together, they lived in a stunning penthouse with breathtaking views of the city skyline. Their social calendar was packed with galas, exclusive dinners, and lavish vacations. It was the kind of life most people dreamed of, yet Ryan couldn't shake a nagging feeling in the pit of his stomach. Though they shared countless intimate moments and memories, Ryan began to doubt the authenticity of Mia's love. Was she with him because of his money and status? Or did she truly love him for who he was? It wasn't an unusual thought for someone as successful as Ryan, but recently the insecurities had grown stronger. The sparkle in Mia's eyes, the affection she showed, was it real? Or was it just another way to bask in his wealth? Mia was everything Ryan had ever wanted: intelligent, graceful, and endlessly supportive. They had met years ago in college, and their relationship had blossomed into something rare. But recently, there was a distance between them that Ryan couldn't ignore. Mia seemed just a little too perfect, a little too idealized for the life they shared. Was she staying with him out of love, or for the lavish lifestyle? One evening, over dinner at their penthouse, Ryan couldn't hold back his worries any longer. He casually mentioned his concerns. "Mia, do you think you'd love me if I weren't rich? If I didn't have all this?" he asked, swirling his glass of wine. Mia smiled softly, but there was something unreadable in her expression. "Of course, Ryan. I love you, not your wealth," she said, her voice warm but distant. It was almost too perfect, too rehearsed. Ryan's mind raced. Was it just him? Or did something feel off? That night, Ryan lay awake, contemplating his next steps. He couldn't live in a relationship where he felt like a mere tool for someone's ambitions. If Mia truly loved him, he had to know for sure. But how could he test her without jeopardizing everything they had built? Then, a bold idea struck him. He would fake bankruptcy. He would throw everything away, sell off assets, and reduce their lifestyle to the bare minimum. If Mia truly loved him, she would stick by him no matter how much they lost. If not, well, he would finally have his answer. In the following days, Ryan executed his plan with precision. He began selling properties, canceling high-end memberships, and even liquidating some of his business interests. Mia, ever the supportive wife, hadn't yet caught on to his changes. She was still busy with her own projects, focused on charity work, and didn't seem to notice the subtle shift in their lifestyle. But Ryan began to see small cracks in his facade of normalcy. His world, once filled with expensive things, now felt smaller and smaller. He missed the luxury, the opulence, and the endless convenience. Yet, he remained committed to the test. Finally, he broke the news to Mia. It was a dinner like any other, but this time the atmosphere was tense. Ryan looked at her with an expression of almost painful sincerity. "Mia, there's something I need to tell you. I've lost everything. Bad investments, bad decisions. Our wealth, it's all gone. We're broke." Mia blinked, her fork pausing halfway to her mouth. For a moment, Ryan wondered if he had gone too far. But then, Mia's reaction stunned him. Instead of outrage or panic, she simply set down her fork with calm composure. "Okay," she said quietly. "We'll figure it out." Ryan was taken aback. This wasn't the reaction he had anticipated. He expected her to argue, to be angry, or at least to express concern. But Mia just seemed unbothered. "You're not upset?" Ryan asked, unable to hide his confusion. "No," she replied, her voice steady. "We've always been a team, Ryan. If we're starting over, we'll do it together. We don't need all this to be happy." The calmness of her response left Ryan speechless. It was nothing like what he had expected. Just. In the weeks that followed, Mia adapted to their new circumstances with a grace that Ryan couldn't comprehend. She insisted they move into a modest apartment and began finding ways to cut costs. She took on part-time jobs to contribute, teaching yoga classes, helping with local community projects, even freelancing as a consultant. It wasn't glamorous, but Mia threw herself into it with determination. As Ryan watched her navigate this new life with such resilience, he couldn't help but feel a mix of admiration and confusion. Was this really the same woman who had once lived a life of luxury? How could she adjust so easily, so seamlessly, to a life so different from the one they had before? At first, Ryan struggled with the transition. He missed the grandiose dinners, the exclusive parties, the luxury vacations. But as the days turned into weeks, something unexpected began to happen. He started seeing Mia in a different light. She wasn't just his wife. She was strong, capable, and unwavering. She loved him enough to sacrifice her own comforts to make sure he didn't feel alone in this struggle. And that, more than anything, made him question his initial plan. But just when Ryan thought he had figured it all out, just when he was beginning to believe that Mia's love for him was genuine, something happened that would turn everything upside down. One evening, while going through some old financial documents, Ryan came across something that would change everything. Amid the bills and old contracts, he stumbled upon a bank statement with Mia's name on it. His heart raced as he scanned the numbers. Billions. It was staggering, unfathomable. He couldn't believe his eyes. Mia, his wife, had access to wealth that far exceeded anything he had ever imagined. In that moment, everything changed. Ryan felt a rush of betrayal mixed with confusion. How could Mia have kept this from him? Was she hiding her wealth to test his loyalty too? Or had she known all along that he would fail, that his plan would eventually backfire? With the weight of the discovery on his shoulders, Ryan confronted Mia, desperate for answers. "Mia, what is this?" he demanded, holding up the bank statement. Mia looked at him calmly, not the least bit surprised. She had known this moment would come, and in that moment, she finally revealed the truth. Her wealth, her background, and the secrets she had kept hidden for years. But what she said next would leave Ryan stunned. Mia sat down across from Ryan, her expression unreadable but soft. She didn't rush to explain herself, allowing the silence to hang heavy in the air. Ryan, still holding the bank statement, was on the edge of his seat. His mind raced with questions, none of which seemed to have a satisfying answer. How could she have kept this from him? Why hadn't she told him? Finally, Mia spoke. "Ryan, I know this must be a shock to you, but it's not the betrayal you think it is." Ryan stared at her speechless. His heart pounded in his chest as he waited for her to continue. "I come from an old money family," Mia explained, her voice calm yet firm. "My parents are billionaires. I've always had access to wealth, more than you could imagine. But I never wanted it to define me or my relationships. I wanted someone who would love me for who I am, not for what I could give them. Ryan's confusion only deepened. But why didn't you tell me? Why keep it hidden? Mia's eyes softened as she met his gaze. Because, Ryan, I wanted to see if you would love me when I had nothing to offer, if you would still choose to be with me if I wasn't living this extravagant life. I didn't want you to stay with me because you thought you were going to get something in return. I wanted to know if you could love me for me. Ryan's mind reeled. He had spent weeks questioning her loyalty, believing she might only be with him for his wealth, while Mia had been testing him in her own way. He had never suspected the truth that she was the one who had been hiding her wealth, not to deceive him, but to protect their relationship. "But why didn't you just tell me from the start?" Ryan asked, his voice quiet with regret. "I thought about it, but I wanted you to find out when you were ready. I didn't want to put pressure on you, to make you feel like you had to prove something." Mia paused, her gaze lingering on him. "I was waiting for you to see past the money, Ryan, to see me." Ryan felt a rush of guilt. For months he had been testing her, deceiving her, and all along she had been doing the same, but out of love. He realized, too late, that his insecurity had clouded his judgment. He had put her through this unnecessary trial when all she ever wanted was for him to love her without conditions. But just as Ryan was about to apologize, Mia's face shifted slightly, as though she had more to reveal. "There's one more thing," she said, her voice now taking on a teasing tone. Ryan, still reeling from the truth about her wealth, was startled. "What is it?" Mia smiled slightly. "You weren't the only one with a plan." Ryan blinked. "What do you mean?" She leaned in, her voice lowering to a playful whisper. "I've known about your little bankruptcy test from the beginning." Ryan froze. "What? How?" Mia shrugged. "Let's just say I know you too well. I saw the way you were pulling back from the luxury, the way you started acting differently, and I could tell something was up. It didn't take long for me to figure out what you were doing." Ryan's jaw dropped. He was speechless. "So, you've been playing me the entire time?" Mia chuckled softly. "Not exactly. I didn't want to confront you about it. I figured you'd come clean when the time was right. And, well, I was right, wasn't I?" Ryan sat back in his chair, stunned. "You knew?" "From the start," she replied, her smile widening. "But I wanted to give you the chance to figure it out on your own. I didn't want to force the truth on you. I wanted to see if you would eventually realize that our love didn't need any tests." Ryan let out a heavy sigh, half laughing in disbelief. "So you've been playing me while I've been playing you?" Mia nodded, her smile warm. "I guess you could say we were both testing each other in our own ways. But in the end, it didn't matter, did it?" Ryan realized that, in the end, it didn't matter. The tests, the deceit, the hidden truths, none of it mattered. What mattered was that they were finally being honest with each other. The days that followed were filled with reflection and heart-to-heart conversations. Ryan and Mia talked for hours, untangling the knots of their relationship. The truth had come to light, and it felt like a weight had been lifted from both of their shoulders. Ryan, overwhelmed with guilt for doubting Mia's love, made a promise to never let insecurity or fear get in the way of their relationship again. And Mia, grateful for Ryan's willingness to open up and accept the truth, made her own promise. She would never again hide parts of herself, especially not from the person she loved most. They decided to take their time rebuilding their life together, without the pressures of wealth or status. Instead of using their fortune to flaunt their success, they chose to use it to give back. they established a foundation to help those in need, offering financial support to people starting over, just like they had. Ryan and Mia learned that love wasn't about tests, tricks, or hidden wealth. It was about trust, honesty, and standing together through the challenges that life threw at them. And with that newfound understanding, they rebuilt their marriage on the solid foundation of truth. One evening, as they sat on their balcony watching the sunset, Ryan jokingly said, "I guess we're both good at playing games, huh?" Mia smirked, pulling out a small envelope from her bag. "You know, I think I'll be the one testing you next." Ryan raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "Oh, really? How's that?" Mia handed him the envelope. "I already bought back all the properties you sold during your bankruptcy." "You didn't think I'd let you lose your favorite golf course, did you?" Ryan stared at her in disbelief. "You've been managing the whole thing this entire time?" Mia nodded, a playful grin on her face. "Let's just say I've learned a thing or two about you. Next time you want to test me, I suggest you make sure I don't already know your plans." Ryan laughed, feeling a weight lift off his shoulders. It wasn't just love that they had. They had something even more powerful, trust. And together, they knew they could face anything life threw their way. In the end, Ryan and Mia realized that life wasn't about wealth or tests. It was about the quiet strength of standing by each other, no matter the circumstances. As they rebuilt their future, they discovered that true connection comes not from what you have, but from how you share your journey together, honestly, openly, and without pretensions. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated with more. And remember, trust is the foundation of every great relationship. Always choose honesty over doubt.